We are going to see the topic. I have specifically named this topic demystifying options. For a simple reason, like a lot of us, even when I was learning this subject, options was always like most of the students find it a mystery or like more complex than any other tracks. So let us understand this particular instrument from the basics. So that is the whole funda for this particular session. So this we are covering like into this topic into 4 segments. So first let us understand what is derivative. So the once we understand what is derivative with an example, we will be able to appreciate further into options, like what are the types of options and how the payoff structure works. So once we are accustomed with all these things, then we can go to a little more advanced stage. This is not just for learning. This is what happens in the live market also. So I'm just going to teach you a couple of strategies using options and how it is happening in the actual market. So this is the whole agenda just for this meeting. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so now what is derivative? Derivative, if you see, the definition goes like this: a derivative contract is a financial instrument whose payoff structure is derived from the value of the underlying asset. So this fancy looking phrase will be understand. We'll come back to the same explanation after the example. So you'll be able to understand this particular meaning for this particular state. Okay, so I think I mean it is more convenient to have a live interaction, but since this is my first WebEx, I'm not able to gauge how you are understanding. If not, so you will be what I'll do, I mean, if you are asking me in between any doubts, you can raise your hands and you can ask. But what I think is a feasible solution is, after completing each segment, I'll give a pause, so you can ask then and there what is your doubt, because it's little complex in nature. Only when you understand the basic right, you will be able to appreciate the furthermost right. So don't feel any hesitation. After completing each segment, let us take a pause. You can ask all your doubts. I'm not sure how like you will be. I think the raising hand segment is there, so you can enable your video and you can ask mistakes. Okay. So let us take an example. So everyone love cricket. I mean, I do love cricket. Everyone love cricket. So let us understand option through cricket. So let us get in a good. I'll tell you good news. Like we have found a vaccine for COVID. So after that, the world comes back to the normal. So luckily, our IPL also is back. So if IPL is back, what are the ways to watch the match? Like we can watch the match either through television or through going to the stadium, and you can watch the match. And the opening match itself is between Royal Challengers and say CSK. So everyone will be interested to watch this match. So the only way the match in the stadium is to get a ticket. Getting a ticket, you know, I mean, prior to this, you will be knowing like it is very tough. There are only 2-3 ways to get a ticket. One, you will have to pay hefty amount, so you will have to book it online to get the ticket, or there is another way where you can go for a recommendation, or if you are in a corporate, you will get an free ticket with a highly influential person. So let us assume you are going to get this ticket using actually one of our friend in this group is having a very high influence with India's most powerful person. So he is going to that particular person and saying, I need a recommendation from you to get this ticket. I mean, I'm just confused, like who is the most powerful, so I can include both of them. So one of you is going and getting this letter. You are requesting, I need to watch this particular IPL match, you give me a letter. So he is writing, say Modi ji is writing a letter, please give this particular person 10 tickets at the rate of 1000 rupees. So he is explicitly mentioning you have to give this particular person the tickets for 1000 rupees only. So this is what okay. So this is the letter you are getting. So let us rewind what I said. You need to go for a match to watch. For that you need a ticket. To get this ticket, you are going for a recommendation. You are going to the particular influential person, and you are going and requesting him. In his letter, he is writing that give this particular person 10 tickets at the rate of 1000 rupees. Okay, now there are two options for you. as a budding cost accountant, either you can go and watch this match, you can just pay this 1000 rupees and you can go and watch this match, or you have one more alternative. What is that alternative? You can make money out of this particular letter. So what happens? See, I'll give an example. The current market price of this particular IPL ticket is 2000, say for example. If that is the case, how you can make a money? This letter enables you to purchase this particular ticket at 1000 rupees. So what you can do, you can go and present this letter to IPL ticket counter. You can get 10 tickets. Per ticket you will be buying at 1000 rupees, and you can sell. The current market price is 2000 condition, selling market condition. You can sell this particular ticket, one ticket, for 2000 rupees. You are buying because of this 1000 rupees because of this letter, and selling this particular ticket at 2000, you are making profit. Correct, no? So that is the scenario number 1. Let me present my Excel. Yeah. These are the scenarios which we are looking into. So as per this, you are going and getting this letter. You are getting this letter stating explicitly 1000 rupees is the price. In scenario 1, the market condition is 2000 because of the long time we have not seen any match. So this is highly praised. This 2000 rupees, you can pocket 1000 rupees per ticket. This per share I have written, like per ticket. So 10 members will be, like you are eligible for 10 lots, no? So total cumulative profit by using this letter is say 10,000 rupees. This is scenario 1. Now let us further proceed. You are getting a news that Sudeep, the well-known actor in Bangalore, he is, since it's a Bangalore match, since he's also a good player, he is declaring that I am going to open the batting with Virat Kohli in a Royal Challengers. So what happens in then? Obviously, the demand for that particular match will go high because he is one of the superstar in Karnataka film industry. If he is also going to bat, that will definitely cause an euphoria for the match. So the ticket price increases. So what happens then? If the ticket price increases, what you can do? Same. If the ticket price has gone up to 3000. So in this case, what happens again? Still, if you want to go watch a match, you can go and watch, or if you want to make profit, you can go to the counter and present this letter and buy this particular ticket for 1000 rupees and sell it in the market for 3000 rupees, whereby per ticket you will be making 2000 rupees profit and cumulatively you will be making 20,000 rupees profit. This is the scenario number 2. You just follow me, you will understand what I am trying to convey. Now next scenario. We all know this Indian Meteorological Department. For what they are famous for, they are famous for forecast, which never happens. Whenever they declare it's going to be a heavy storm or rain, we'll get holidays for school, but nevertheless it doesn't happen. But it has an impact condition in the market condition. So they are predicting on so and say date. Say for example, August 25th, the match is going to happen. Yes, they are declaring it's going to rain very heavily on last week of August. There is very minimal possibility that match is going to happen. In this scenario, what will happen to the ticket price? Normally, even if you have the ticket, you will not be able to go and watch. So it is going to be the waste. It's a wasting effect. So definitely, the demand for this particular ticket will come down drastically. So the third scenario, the ticket price has slashed 50% from 3000 to 1500. It is now only 1500. Now the question is, will you use this letter till, or because this price is slashed 50%, why do you want to use this letter? Will you use this? Will you use or not is a question. But still, if you notice, you can still use this letter because the current market price is 1500. If you still place this letter in the ticket counter and buy this particular ticket for 1000 rupees and sell it for 1500, you can still make a profit of 500 per ticket. Cumulatively, you will be making 5000 rupees for the entire lot. So these are all the 3 scenarios which we have seen now. Now let us go to the 4th scenario. Yeah. Now, as they said, like we are in August 20th, the match is going to happen in 25th. It is raining so heavily. It is flooding the whole Bangalore, and the officials are very struggling to even make the ground to not to get damaged. That is the scenario now. Now the price has slashed drastically. Very little hope. There is very little hope the match can happen. It is a miracle if the match can happen or not. So in this condition, what will happen to the market? Obviously, the ticket price will slash further. So to what extent it has slashed? It is scenario 4. It is slashed further. It is slashed 700 to 700 rupees. Again 50% it has fallen down. Now what will be the loss here? If you see, the loss is 3000 rupees. Do you think it's going to be the loss? I don't think so, because and I'll tell you why. In all these scenarios, you are looking at a profit. Here, no one who's having a proper common sense who will go voluntarily taking this letter and presenting to the ticket counter and saying adamantly that I want to buy this ticket for 1000 rupees when the current market price is already 700 rupees. So all you do is just tear the letter. If you wish and go and watch this match, you can go directly and buy this particular ticket at 700 rupees. Similarly, if say and the rain progresses and the ticket is slashing furthermore to 500, still there is no worry. All you need to is just tear the letter, and if you want to go and watch the match, if you think there's a miracle and match is going to happen, you can watch this particular match by buying this ticket for 500 rupees. So now I think you will be able to understand what is happening here. In all these different scenarios, you can see in the first case, you can see the cumulative profit is 10,000, which means the value for this letter, the letter which you hold, just because you are holding this letter, you are able to generate a profit of 10,000 if you use this letter wisely. In the second scenario, you are able to generate even furthermore 20,000 cumulatively if you use this letter. But in the last few scenarios, you will not be using this letter. Though it is lost, in no common sense person will be using this letter. So you can see there is a value for this letter which is derived from the underlying instrument. What is the underlying instrument here? It is the IPL tickets. So whenever the IPL ticket price fluctuates, this particular letter which we got, it is automatically deriving the value from this IPL ticket. This is the definition which we saw little earlier. Now we will be able to appreciate this particular definition in a more common sense. What is derivative contract? It is a financial instrument. Yeah, that's right. Whose payoff structure? Payoff structure is the profit which we are all along talking about. First case it was 20,000, second case it was 30,000, then it dropped down to 5,000, then it lost its entire value. So the payoff structure is derived from the value of the underlying asset. Here the value of the underlying asset is the ticket's price movement, which is from which this particular financial instrument is deriving its value. Agreed? So this is the first segment I want everyone to be clear of. Is there any doubts or shall I proceed? Should I proceed? For some reason I'm not able to see your response. Yeah, I got some action. Yeah, let us proceed. Now we'll go on to now you have understood what is derivative. The example all along I was giving, it is an example for call option. Let us now go deep. What is call? What are the types of option? Then I'll connect you the example which I gave is exactly the call option, which is what I am explaining. Yeah, so now, so this is a financial instrument. Yeah, this is what we have agreed now. No, it's a financial instrument. It is a derivative who is deriving its value from the underlying asset. Any contract, financial instrument, any contract, it has to have two parties. There should be a buyer and there should be a seller. Only then the agreement or consensus comes in any different contracts. It is the same case with options also. There is a buyer of option and there is a seller of option. Buyer is having certain benefits. Seller is having certain benefits. Let us come to that. So here buyer is called holder also because he is holding that instrument. No, the letter which I was talking about, he is buying and he is holding that instrument. That's why he is called buyer and also the holder. What he does, he, like this letter, no, he need not go and get a recommendation. This letter is very well traded in the market. All you have to go is, in our example, you got it free. So, but here you will have to pay a premium. For example, to get this particular letter, you will have to say, you would have paid some 1,000 for that particular letter. You would have paid some 300 or 200 rupees. You can have that letter. So who is selling this letter? Those who are writing the, see, how do you write something? Letter has to be written, no? So that's why they are called writers or sellers. So the option seller writes that particular instrument and he sells to you. So that the holder or buyer gets it. In our case, we explained clearly. Once again, let me go back. We explained clearly in this fourth and fifth scenario, though the market price is 700, we are not going to incur any loss. The reason being, we are just going to tear off this letter and just throw it away because it makes all the more sense to go and buy in the current market price instead of using the letter. Which means you can clearly notice if you are having a profitable scenario, you can use this particular instrument. If it is against you or if it is not making sense to you, you can always tear this letter. So now you can be able to appreciate the buyer or the holder is having the right. He is just having the right, but he doesn't have any obligation. Whenever he is having a profitable scenario, he can use his rights to his own benefit. But if it is not working out in his favor, he doesn't have any obligation. Just because whenever he is making profit, he will be enjoying that. If it is lost, he has to settle down. That is not the case with the holder or the buyer. That's why we call the buyer or the holder is always having rights and there is no obligation from him. Even when the market price slashes down to 100 rupees, if there is no chance for a match to happen, even if it is slashing down to 100 rupees, there is no loss for him. All he wants to do is just to tear the letter. Of course, this letter which I was talking about, he won't get it free of cost. Whatever premium he paid, for example, to get this particular letter, if he has paid this 100 rupees, that is going to be his maximum loss. So this is what it explains. So now let us proceed to types of option. There are two. Basically, option is all about only two segments. One is, and there are lots of varieties of strategies mixing these two only. In a broad arena, there are only two types of options. One is call option, other one is put option. Call option is nothing but it is the right which has been traded. I hope you will be getting it. It is the right which has been traded. If the right is beneficial for us, we'll be using it. If the right is not beneficial for us, we all have all the right to tear off that letter. So here the call option gives us the right to buy at a particular price. In our example, the right to buy at a particular price is, this is the price which is the right which we are having the right to buy. The 1,000 rupees is the strike price in which we have the right to buy, and the lot size which I was talking about, I mean, in a particular derivative you can't buy for like random lot. Each particular instrument will be having its own lot size. In our example, we are given 10. For example, HDFC will have 500 shares per lot size, and if you take some other say ICICI, it will have 3,000 shares of the lot size. each particular share will be having its own lot size. So the lot is nothing but you have to trade in that particular multiples. So this is anyway that we'll be covering in further segments. The point I'm trying to drive in here is this example is exactly the call option buy. When we are buying this particular letter, we are enabling ourselves to get the upside potential. Whenever the market price is going up, the value of this derivative will also increase. If the market price is coming down or crashing, there's no need to worry, because all we have is only the right. There is no obligation if the trade is going against us. So this is call option, wherein we have the right to buy. What is put option? It is exactly the opposite. We have the right to sell a particular contract at a particular price. For example, if we have HDFC share, and for example, we already own that HDFC share at rupees, say 1000 rupees. We are worried that this particular, in this COVID condition, market can crash and it can go to any level, even it can go to 500, 400. So if for example, we are buying this particular instrument, I have the right to sell this particular HDFC share, say at 1000 rupees. I am buying this instrument, say by paying say 40 rupees or 50 rupees. If I purchase this right to sell, even if the market crashes to 400 or 300, whatever price, still we can hold this instrument. I hope you are connecting the dots. Still you will be having the particular right. Even if the market price is at 400, you will be able to use this particular letter or the instrument and go and sell in the market the HDFC share for 1000 rupees, which means whatever price you are holding, you are not incurring any further loss. It is just like an insurance. If you see, you will be paying every month, you will be paying a hefty insurance for your life, car, bike, vehicle. But those instruments will be having a high value when there is a disaster. On a normal years, like you'll be for 5-6 years, you'll be just paying 20,000, 30,000 as an insurance. It is just a cost in drain. But when there's a huge disaster happens, this will be protecting you. So the purpose of deriving this instrument, it is for these exact purposes. This is acting as an insurance. I hope you understood the put option. This is just a diagrammatic representation wherein the buyer pays the option premium. What does the seller gives on we is collecting the premium, agreed. What does the seller gives you in back? He is giving the obligation. So you can say, when you have the right to buy, what will be the opposite scenario? If you have the right to buy, someone has to sell. So he has the obligation to sell at the particular price. In our example, we had 1000 rupees is the strike price. Even when the market shoots to 3000 or 4000, the seller will be having the obligation to sell only at 1000 rupees, not any price which is reflecting in the current market price. So to do this, he should be paid some amount. So that particular amount is the premium. This is the exact opposite scenario wherein the buyer will hold the right to sell. In our example, HDFC example, we are getting this letter wherein we will be having the right to sell at the 1000 rupees, irrespective the market crashes to 0. But to do this, seller should be paid some amount, because he can't do it free of cost. He will be getting some premium to do this particular, because he is taking a huge risk. On a normal day, HDFC doesn't crashes to 0. It will be hovering around the same level, wherein this particular premium, whatever we are paying, is lost. It's like a car insurance. But when it crashes, the seller will be having a huge obligation to mitigate the loss which is incurred by the buyer. Yeah, so it is the terminology which is used in the derivative contract. Like you can't trade in any number of customized share like 101, 503. It is the lot size for each and individual share which determines. So let us connect this with our example. In our example, I said 10. That is the lot size which I was referring to. Expiry date is nothing but all this particular instrument. This instrument is valid only to that particular date. You can correlate with this our match example. See, how long you'll be holding the ticket? Only till the match date. After the match date, whether it is raining or the match has done fantabulous, this ticket is having no value, because all the ticket value is only till the match date. Similarly, for this any derivative contract, there is a particular expiry date which comes up with. Till that expiry date only it is having the value. Post that it doesn't have any value. Spot price is, the reason it is called spot price is at that particular moment what is the price. That's why it is spotting the price, because each moment given there is a lot of market condition which derives the price. Each moment the price will not be stagnant at any point in time. Each moment the price will stagger around. In our example, like I gave you some examples how a price can be influenced. Any particular person, in our example Sudeep batting is a news. Likewise, if any foreign institutional investor who is investing in a company, that is a huge benefit for that company to go with a very good level. So that will increase the demand for that particular share price. Similarly, there are a lot of adverse things. If the government is putting a regulation on particular thing, then the share price drops. There are a lot of market events which affects the spot price. That is why it is called the spot price. Strike price is the 1000 rupees which I told. No, in letter it is written. Whatever happens, this is the price you can buy the contract. So that is the strike price. Option premium is the premium which is paid to get this letter. In our example, we said 100 rupees or 200 rupees, whatever may be the case that we are paying. We are not going for a recommendation. We can pay this particular amount and get this letter. Yeah. So before proceeding, I will take a pause. Anyone is having any doubts, you can either chat or you can come on a video call and ask. I would request if everyone is clear, you can at least type in like I'm clear. You can proceed. I heard from Lakshmi. I would request few others also. If you have doubts, you can ask, or if you want me to proceed, you can type in. Right. All right. Let me proceed. Got it. Thanks, Rachna. Yeah. So now, one second. This is the thing which we covered. It is this also I think we should cover. How this a contract? We have taken a contract. All right. How does a contract getting closed? There are two ways wherein we can close the contract. Say for example, you have bought a call option in HDFC. Say for HDFC you have bought a call option at 1000 rupees. What do you get when you buy a call option? You get a right to buy HDFC shares. Say the lot size is 500. You get the right to buy HDFC shares of 500 quantities at 1000 rupees, irrespective of the market price wherever it goes. Of course, if the market price drops below 1000, you will not be foolish enough to adamantly use this instrument and buy at 1000 rupees. You can very well tear off this particular instrument and go on buy the HDFC shares at the current prevailing market price. Say for example, now actually HDFC is trading around I think on 140, 50 or something. Say for example, by the expiry day, the expiry day is for all stocks. It is the last Thursday of every month. That is the expiry day for all derivative contracts. For example, options, all options, stock options, last Thursday of every month is the expiry day. The current month expiry day happens on 30th July, I believe. On 30th July, the HDFC Bank share price has doubled. It has gone to 2000 rupees. So there are two ways to settle. Earlier there was two ways. Let us understand the earlier scenario so that you will be able to understand what is this. There are two ways to settle. One, what happens when you have the right to buy HDFC shares, the other person will have the obligation to sell the HDFC share, say for 1000 rupees. But on the expiry day, the price of the share is 2000. So by delivery, it doesn't talks about price only. So what it says, 500 shares is the get 500 shares, get 500 shares. Seller has to give 500 shares. So seller has to somehow arrange for 500 shares. Obviously, if he doesn't have, he will have to purchase from the market at 2000 rupees and hold it in his demat account and give that 500 shares in delivery to the buyer of the option, because buyer only wants to buy this particular share at 1000 rupees for that 500 particular lot size. So the first option is the seller is buying from the market, or if he already has in his demat account, well and fine, he will be giving the shares as a delivery. The price doesn't get involved here. The buyer is eligible to buy 500 shares. The seller has to give 500 shares. Forget about the market price. So it is settled through delivery. Obviously, what you will do, once you get the delivery of 500 shares, you will be getting the delivery of 500 shares. But the current market price is at 2000. You will be you will be priced is the 1000 rupees is what the strike price you are pricing it. You will be getting 500 shares, immediately you will be selling it for 2000 rupees. So you will be definitely enjoying that particular 1000 rupees. So instead of indirect by getting the share in your demat account and then selling and then getting that benefit, you can very well pay the difference. The seller, what he will say, see, the strike price is 1000 rupees. The current market price is 2000, so you are enjoying 1000 rupees per share is the difference. So 1000 rupees multiplied by 500 lot size, this much price I will settle you in liquid cash. So let us not go for this particular delivery, physical delivery format. So these are the two methods wherein the contract is getting closed. Okay, this was an earlier scenario. Now what SEBI has done it, because there are a lot of speculation happening in the option market where people doesn't need to buy these options or doesn't need to sell these options. There are a lot of speculation happening. Now they have made it mandatorily the settlement for stocks has to happen only by the way of delivery method. This paying of the difference is not allowed anymore for stocks. Why so? So see, the one who will be selling the call option will be doing only if he owns this particular share on his demat account. If he doesn't have on the expiry day, it is a huge risk for him to sell a call option, because if on the delivery day, if the right is exercised, if he doesn't have the share in his demat account, there is a huge penalty, and you can't buy the shares in the proper market. You will have to go to auction market and you will have to procure shares in the auction market, wherein there the whatever actionable price that is in his head, and then you will have to give delivery. So because of this particular fear, no one would like to play heavily on stock options unless they do have their shares in the demat account. Yeah, I hope it is clear. So these are the two methods. But for index Nifty or bank Nifty, wherein it is an index, you can't just buy index. No, it is a combination of several shares. That is always settled by the price difference. It is not done through delivery. We can't do through delivery also. So that is always settled through. Yeah. So let me come again. There are two methods to close the contract. For example, HDFC share. We are say for example, a particular person, say Lakshmi, has bought the call option at a strike price of 1000 rupees, wherein you will be eligible to buy HDFC shares. Say for example, the lot size is 1. For convenience sake, the lot size is 1. You will be eligible to purchase HDFC share of HDFC at 1000 rupees. If on the expiry day the current market price has gone to 2000, obviously you want to exercise the contract. Only when the market price is less than 1000, you will be tearing off this letter and going and purchasing directly from the market. If it is high, you will be obviously, as a holder of the contract, you will be exercising the contract. So what happens here in delivery method, the particular person, who is the writer of the option, he has to transfer one share from his demat account to your demat account. So there is no price discussion here. It is very simple. You have bought one share, he has to sell one share. But what happens, as soon as you get this one share, you can sell it in the market for 2000 rupees. Your strike price, you can sell it 1000, you can sell it for 2000 rupees, and you can enjoy that benefit of 1000 rupees. Instead of doing it indirectly, you can do it directly by this method, wherein you can pay the price difference. The call option buyer is having the right to buy at 1000 rupees only. However, the market price is 2000, which means the buyer is having a profit of 1000 rupees per share. This 1000 rupees, the seller will settle him in the liquid cash format. So once he settles down through the stock exchange, this contract's ending in a very good manner by paying off the price difference, this method. But however, in delivery, the price point is not talked. Buyer wanted to buy one share, seller has to give one share as a delivery. The price is not a talking point. So these are two methods which were earlier available in our stock exchanges, but SEBI recently, like 3-4 months back, has banned for stock exchange by paying off the price difference. Only through the delivery mode you will have to settle the contract. So that is the current mandate from the stock exchange. Is it clear now, or should I repeat? Yeah, thank you. Yes, so now we are getting into the meat of our discussion. So all along we were just touching and brushing the basics. So I would request all of you to pay attention. Here comes the fun part. Post this comes the fun part. You will have to understand the payoff structure to understand how you can play with options and make money in stock exchange. So let us go there. For first, all we need to know, why we are doing all this to earn a profit. Obviously, when you want to earn a profit, loss is a part of the game. You can't be winning always. So you will be either getting gain, or you will be losing. And sometimes that happens anyways. So let us understand for each instrument what is the gain and what is the loss. Yeah, for first one, call option buyer. What happens here? Let me ask you. Let me ask you for the next slide, because it is already displayed. You'll be able to see an answer. For call option buyer, what happens? He is buying a contract, say for example 10 rupees. 10 rupees he is paying and getting that letter, that instrument. Okay, so he is getting that for the strike price of 100. He is saying the strike price is 100. I will be paying you 10 rupees to get this. I will be buying this particular instrument, call option, which gives me the right to buy at 100 rupees. So what happens when the market shoots up? The market shoots up when it goes to 200 rupees. The call option buyer, he is having the right to buy at 100 rupees. So he can buy this share at 100 rupees and sell at 200, which means he will be getting profit. So whether his profit is limited or unlimited? Obviously it is unlimited. Stock exchange or any share price, theoretically it can go to infinity, though it doesn't happen in a short while. Theoretically it can go to infinity, but whatever price it goes, he is having the right to buy that particular share at only 100 rupees, irrespective whether it goes to 200, 300, 400 or 1000 rupees, whatever price it goes, he is having the right to buy only at 100 rupees. So this particular price difference, buying at 100 rupees, the current market price is 200 rupees, that is the price difference the call option buyer is enjoying. Now, all right. Now, there are three basic things here you'll be understanding. What is his maximum loss? What is his maximum profit? And what is the break-even point? What is his maximum loss? If the price crashes, say it crashes to 50 rupees, you will not be using this instrument. He will just tear off this letter. But what is the cost? He has paid 10 rupees to get this particular letter. This 10 rupees is a loss for his loss is maximum to this 10 rupees. Now what happens? When the market price hits 110 rupees, what is his gain? He will be gaining. He is having the right to buy at 100 rupees, but he can sell it at 110. So he is gaining the 10 rupees. But still, whether he is making profit? No, he doesn't make profit. The reason is he is paid 10 rupees and he is gained 10 rupees, which means he has gained nothing. So that is why 110 is a break-even point. So further to 110, whatever price it is going up, it is going to be his profit. So this is the payoff structure for call option buyer. Okay, let me ask you a simple question. For the call option writer, whether the profit is limited or unlimited, you can type in. For the call option writer who is selling this instrument, whether the profit is limited or unlimited. Okay, you can see Lakshmi is unlimited, Lakana is limited. Any more participants? I'll repeat the question for the benefit of all. I'm talking about call option writer. What would be his profit? Whether it will be limited or unlimited. I mean, feel free to type in the answer. There is nothing right or wrong. You have all the right to be wrong. So you can type in the answer. So by that you will be able to understand things clearly. Furthermore, it is going to be little more complex. Yeah, all right. So it is just the reverse scenario of this particular slide. See, what will be the writer be getting? If it is the market is not going beyond 100 rupees, maximum he will be getting 100. No, I'll clarify. So the writer payoff structure is just the opposite of this. As a writer, our maximum profit is only 10 rupees. See, what we do get by selling this letter? Only the premium. The premium is what? 10 rupees. If the market price stays at 100 or anywhere below 100, the particular writer, holder of the option who is having the right, he will just tear off this letter, because he will not use this letter and buy the share at 100 rupees when the market price is at 90 rupees. Obviously, right? It doesn't make any sense. So he will, the moment he tears off it, which means he lapses the contract, which means he doesn't exercise his right, we will be gaining. What we will be gaining is the maximum 10 rupees which we collected as a premium. However, when now the next question is whether his loss is limited or unlimited. Loss is obviously unlimited. If the market price shoots up to say 100 rupees share, if it shoots up to 1000 rupees, he loses 900 rupees, and theoretically the share price can go to infinity. So the loss for the call writer, it is unlimited. However, his profit is limited to the premium which he is collected. All right. Am I clear? Should I repeat? Okay, so let us proceed to the next type of option. Yeah, it is now the put option buy. So what we are getting in the put option buyer? As a put option buyer, obviously you are getting a letter, you are getting an instrument. What that instrument says, you will be having the right to sell at a particular price. Say for example, in our example, you have the right to sell at particular 100 rupees. You have the right to sell at 100 rupees. So what happens when the market crashes to 50 rupees or 60 rupees? The difference you'll be enjoying, even at the 60 rupees, you will be enforcing using this instrument, and you'll be selling at 100 rupees, which means the difference between this 60 and this 100, this 40 rupees, will be gaining as a profit. So that is what you are going to enjoy. Alright, but what happens when you are buying this particular instrument, when the market price shoots up, say it has shot up to 200 rupees, will you be foolish enough to use this instrument? See, I have this instrument, which is a beautiful instrument. I'm going to use this instrument and sell at only 100 rupees. No, you won't do that. You will just tear off this particular instrument and go and sell your shares at 200 rupees, which is available at the current market price. This particular instrument you are buying only for a protection. If the market crashes and goes to 10 rupees, 20 rupees, or whatever price it goes, you can still use this instrument and cover up all your losses. So that's what will happen using this particular instrument. Correct, right? And now what happens here? What about the profit potential for a put option buyer? Unlike call option, wherein you have the unlimited profit potential, put option is not having the unlimited profit potential. The only reason is the share go below zero. So all it can reach is only till zero. So that is the reason, from whatever price, from 100 rupees we are purchasing, the share price has crashed down to 0 rupees. The maximum which you can get is this 100 rupees. However, are you getting 100 rupees? No, because to get this letter you have paid 10 rupees. So if it has gone to 0 also, you will be getting this 100 minus the 10 which you have already paid to get this particular instrument, and by which the profit will be getting maximum is only 90 rupees, which gives us a conclusion: the profit for a put option buyer is limited only. What about the loss? Whether it is unlimited loss or heavy loss? No. Always remember, the holder or the buyer, his loss is limited to only to the extent of the letter which is purchased by paying some amount. If the trade goes against him, say for example, as a put option buyer, you would like to market to go down, only then you will be getting the profit. If the market is going up, say it is shooting up to 200, you need not worry, you need not settle this difference of 100 rupees. All you need to do is to tear off this instrument. So your loss as a buyer is always limited, irrespective of whatever circumstance. But put option buyer will be having a limited profit potential. However, call option buyer will be having an unlimited profit potential. Now my next question, what will be the put option writer's profit? Whether it will be limited or unlimited? I'll repeat. First, am I clear till here, or should I, is there any clarification should I go through? Okay, okay.
Clarification needed. She has Nikita.
You can possibly you can connect her, like how. Okay, Nikita, you can speak. I think you can unmute your.
Mike, can you possibly give access to her, Nikita? Mike, sir.
I'll give her.
1 second, Rosario.
Yeah.
She can talk now.
Hi, Nikita.
Hi, sir.
Please proceed your question.
Hi, Nikita. You can proceed.
Actually, little bit repeat. The last part was a little faster, so we couldn't.
Like which part? Like should I start from?
I actually see. What is my understanding? Should I convey to you that, or then can you?
That's true. I mean, you can tell me which segment it is. It is whether it is call or put, which you are talking about.
So what I've understood is call option is we are calling we are taking it is just a letter. We're just exercising the price at we are with the seller. We are like we will be purchasing at this price. So he is giving us a guarantee, whatever, irrespective of the market price, giving us at 100 rupees, as you said.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
so that's why you are paying a 10 rupees cost of premium. That I am paying you 10 rupees. If whatever the price is, I will be paying you up to 100. The 100 days I will be. He is assuring you. So, call option. So my cost is this market this 100 price and 10. So my cost is break-even point is 110.
True. True. Correct.
Okay. Now this 110 price. Now, if suppose now the price is above it, whatever the price is there, then I will call up this option and I will exercise I will exercise 100 rupees purchase, and then I have already paid to the seller.
No, let me reiterate. I mean, your understanding is right. Little bit I'll have to tweak it. This
Okay.
10 rupees you will be paying upfront. Whenever you are going and getting this into this contract, no, you will be paying this 10 rupees upfront and get this instrument. For example, the call option. So that will become a sunk cost, irrespective whatever happens to market. That is going to be the sunk cost, 10 rupees. Correct, right?
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Put this in the slide. So now, when the market is shooting up, your cost is not 110. Your cost is only 10. The strike price is saying as 100 rupees. Say for example, the market shoot up to 150 rupees.
Yes.
So what the seller, anyway this 10 rupees is some cost. What
Yes,
the seller will settle you is 150 minus this 100. What should be minus is the strike price.
Yeah. Strike price is 100.
Yeah, that's true. So this 50 rupees seller will settle you. Net what you will be getting is this 50 rupees is the profit which you are enjoying. However, you already paid this 10 rupees. So net you will be enjoying 40 rupees profit as a call option buyer.
Can I interrupt? That's 50 rupees now by the, you said there are two modes. Either he will actually deliver you if he has a demat account, through that he will do that thing. Transfer, if he doesn't have, usually for the practices, the difference of 50 rupees he will be giving you in cash mode. Is
Exactly.
this standing right?
True. But everyone will be having demat account. Now the condition is, I'll come to that practicality. I mean, the
okay.
concept,
Yeah,
you understood the
was
concept.
saying,
Yeah.
Okay,
So you
then
got
I'm
this
getting-
point, no?
Yes. Further, can
Yeah. Any further clarification? Writer, see, it is the exact opposite way of structure for the buyer. As a writer, what you will get is only 10 rupees. Irrespective whatever happens, you are just selling this instrument for 10 rupees. You will be getting only 10 rupees as a profit. If the market price stays at say 100 rupees, or if it comes down below 100 rupees, obviously you won't exercise this right and buy it 60 rupees. No, if the market price is 60 rupees, you won't use this letter and adamantly buy it 100 rupees. You will just tear off this letter. The moment as a call option buyer you tear it off, the seller will be enjoying the 10 rupees. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. But his loss is having unlimited potential. The market can go to infinity. To the point it is going, he will have to settle the loss from 100 rupees to the point it has gone. Say for example, it has gone to 2000 rupees. 1900 rupees he will have to settle. However, his profit is only 10 rupees.
Okay. Fine, because he will have to be sold for 100 days. So the buyer will purchase his option, exercising his option and paying 100 rupees, and he will have the seller as a compensation to the financial instrument or something. He has to pay 1900. So his loss is limited from seller point of view. Okay.
Yes, exactly. That is why the loss is unlimited. You got the point, no?
Yes.
Okay. So similarly, I mean, this is what for put option also I was explaining the same thing. As a put option buyer, you will be whatever strike price you are seeing 100 rupees, it can maximum go to 0. So you don't have the unlimited potential. 100 rupees can go to 0 rupees. So you will be getting maximum 100 rupees as a profit because your strike price is 100. maximum it can go to 0. If it has go to 0 also, you can use this instrument and say I have the right to sell at 100 rupees. Correct? So your profit potential here is only limited. However, your loss for the loss for the holder or the buyer of option instruments, it is only the premium paid. Whenever the market is not acting in your favor, for example, if the market is shooting up to 200, you can tear off this letter and you can go and sell your shares at 200 rupees. This is what I was explaining. Now I was asking you a simple question. Now that you have understood what is the payoff structure for the put option buyer, what will be the loss for the put option writer or the seller, whether it will be limited or unlimited is my question. There is no right answer or wrong answer. You can just participate so that you will be getting a clear understanding of what we are trying to convey. The question is, what would be the loss for the put option writer, whether it will be limited or unlimited? Yeah, I don't want the exact amount answer. It is limited. Yeah, okay. Unlimited is from Lakshmi. All right. Any more answers? Let me yeah, so there are a few answers. The answer is it is exactly the opposite of this particular chart which you are seeing. It will be also limited. I think I'll clarify it one more time. As a put option writer, what you are doing, you are giving him the right to sell that particular share. You are just selling the right to sell that instrument. You are selling for what you are selling. You will be selling it for 10 rupees. So what happens? Your maximum profit as a writer, the maximum profit is the premium amount. You will not get even 1 rupee more than that. Whatever happens, your maximum profit is always limited as a writer. So as a writer, you will get this 10 rupees by selling that instrument. What happens to the profit element? It is limited. Okay, now let us come to the loss scenario. If the market is crashing, say for 100 rupees it has gone to 50 rupees. What will be the option do? He has the right to sell at 100 rupees irrespective of the market price. If the market is crashing to 50 rupees, from 100 rupees, the difference between 100 and 50, the 50 rupees is the loss which the put option writer will have to pass on to the put option buyer. Correct? No? So from this point of view, this is the loss for the put option writer. Alright, the market price has further crashed to 0 rupees. All it can go to 0. It can't go beyond 0, right? So even if it is going to 0, his maximum loss on this particular contract will be 100 rupees. But whether in a true sense, whether it is 100 rupees, no, he has collected 10 rupees as a premium. Correct, right? So this he is selling this instrument right to sell at 100 rupees. The price has crashed down to 0. Then obviously the buyer of the option will exercise. Whatever may be the price, I don't care. I have the right to sell this particular share at 100 rupees. He will exercise. So the difference between this 100 rupees and 0 rupees, 100 rupees he will be settling down to the put option buyer. Obviously this 10 rupees at the initial level only has collected. Net loss for him is only 90 rupees. So that is why for the put option writer, the loss is not unlimited, it is limited. What about the profit? Always for writers the profit is limited. Am I clear now? Should I repeat this concept? Because only when you are thorough with this particular there are only 4 things. You can be a writer in call option and put option, or you can be a holder in call option and put option. Mixing these 4 combination with different permutation and combination only, there are a lot of strategies which has been derived. and the money making is enabled. So only when you are thorough at these four concepts, you will be able to appreciate the further slides. If you have any doubts, you can further come. Suraj, will there be a time limit between? Suraj, I would suggest you to unmute yourself and ask your question. I didn't get this question. Sorry. Suraj, you can ask your question, Suraj. I'm not sure if he has to be unmuted by the manager or someone.
Mike, please unmute Suraj. Sir.
Yes, sir. It's already unmuted. You can talk.
Hi, sir.
Hi, Suraj.
Hi, Suraj.
Sir, as this put options are there, is there any time gap between this limit stages?
Could you repeat, Suraj? I couldn't get you. What do you?
Is there any limit for call and put option? Like if you call and within few months you have to put.
That's right. That's right. Like I said, no. From the basic thing in our example, in our cricket example, till what point the ticket is valid? The ticket is valid till only till the match day. After the match day, there is no point in holding that particular ticket. So similarly, for all these expiry day is the time limit. The expiry day for all stock options is the last Thursday of every month. For example, for this July, whatever stock options, whether you are buying, whether you are a buyer or writer, the game ends by 30th July. Till that point only, all these contracts are valid. Post that, this contract is having no value. Here is, did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So is everyone, what is the payoff, how this payoff structure for writer and holder? I understand this is little tricky at the initial level. That's why I'm doing concept again and again. Were you able to appreciate the payoff structure option for call option buyer and writer and put option buyer and writer? Okay, I got a response from Lakshmi. Everyone is having the same view.
Rosario, please go ahead, Rosario.
Yeah. Okay, I'll proceed. So here it is. I mean, this doesn't happen anyway. Anyway, as a student, we should know that kind of options which is available. There are two types of. Two kinds at a very broad level. There are two kinds. Whereas one is called European options, the other one is American option. So now, what is European option and what is American option? European option is what it has been followed in, wherein you can contract. See this contract. See, all I was saying, no. Like for example, let us take an example. You have bought a call option for a strike price of 100. The market price goes to 150 or 160 or 170. Only on the expiry day that you will be able to exercise that. I will come to the practical scenario, understand at the broader level. Only on the expiry day you will be able to exercise that. On the other days you can still sell the you can square off the positioner, come later. But in reality, see, you can. I told the delivery method. No, the delivery method you will be. So you can exercise this contract. I need HDFC shares of 100 shares. When you are buying a call option, what you will be buying? You will be having the right to buy. You will be having the right to buy those 100 shares, irrespective of the market price. I will be buying only at 1000 rupees. So that exercise you can exercise only on the expiry day, which means you can't. Other days you can't go and ask the seller, give this particular share in my demat account. only on 30th July of the last Thursday of the every month, you can just hold the collar of the seller and you can right royally after the expiry, but right royally ask for the stipulated number of lot of shares, and you can able to, if you are in a profitable position only, you will exercise obviously. If not, you won't do that. If you are in a profitable position, you can go and exercise this only on the expiry day, not on any other day. However, Americans is like the whole world is spinning this way, the American will be spinning the other way. So they have a peculiar mechanism wherein any day, like starting from 1st July to 30th July, whenever they like, even today if you have the strike price is 100 and today for 140 it is 140 rupees, they'll go and exercise today. You will by means of exercising, you will have to give them the share or you will have to settle the price at today level only. However, European option need not be, not need not be, you will not be able to exercise the contract on any previous day. Only on the expiry day you will be able to exercise. Does it mean, okay, after clarifying this, I'll clarify this also, because this might give you a notion. Even I am in a stable position on, say, for 15th July, I have bought this at a strike price of 100. Now the current market it is at 200 rupees. I will not be able to exercise. I'll lose this opportunity. Should I wait till 30th or the last day or the last Thursday of the month? Not the case. There are innumerable person. There's enough liquidity in our market. The buyer and seller is a buyer and seller and buyer is loaded with the liquidity, wherein you have purchased this option at, say, at a strike price of 100. You would have paid a premium for that particular strike price just only 10 rupees. But when the market price shoots up to 200 rupees, obviously this premium to further purchase this particular instrument will be traded at 110 rupees. So what you can do, this instrument only you can again sell it. So you were all along you were a buyer, then you can become a seller. 10 rupees you have purchased. Now this instrument is traded at 110 rupees. You can sell this instrument and square off your position and enjoy this 100 rupees, whatever the current price. In reality, it doesn't make any difference, but in terms of delivery, this makes a big difference. I know it's a little tricky concept. Let me know if you have understood what I said now. Okay, in a nutshell, it is in European, you will be able to exercise that physical delivery, right? You can understand at that level that physical delivery of settlement you can do only on the expiry day. However, in American, you can do it on all other days. That is the otherwise Mitfunda. Otherwise, both are more or less the same. Okay, now let us come to strategies. So, if you have understood all the previous slides to some reasonable extent, I know it's a complex material. If you have understood, you'll be able to appreciate these strategies. Straddle is one of my favorite strategy. I mean, the kind of return it can give you in a long term, it is like will be even more than the share which it can give you. It can give you even 100% within a year. I mean, if you are investing 1 lakh, you might be ending up earning 1 lakh. So that is the power this straddle is having. So let me just address the very basic understanding of this straddle. So in straddles we have long straddles and short straddles. Let me go through only one because of the time thing. I had few strategies. Let me go through this important strategy alone with you all. So okay, let us take this example. There is a share, say for example Infosys. This Infosys is traded at the current market price is say 40 rupees is for example. This is just trading at a high level. Let us take the current market price of Infosys share is 40 rupees. So what happens? The premium for this particular call option to buy. So why do you want to buy the call option? You think the market is going to go up. When you think the market is going to go up, you buy, you pay this 2.5 rupees premium, and you buy this, but at this particular strike price you pay this 2.5 rupees premium and buy the call option. So what happens when the market shoots up? When the market shoots up, say 50 rupees, 60 rupees, 70 rupees, everywhere you will be gaining. However, you paid only 2.5 rupees. When the market is shooting up to 70 rupees, you will be getting 30 rupees as a profit. Correct, no? But you don't know which way the market is going to go. So what, as an intelligent person, what you are doing, you know somewhere, say for example, these things happens in an election day. On an election result day, market, if Modi comes, the market will be booming. Suppose he loses and there is no majority, which gives a signal that there won't be a much stable. If it is all the minor parties is going to join and form a government, the market condition will not be all the foreign companies will think it won't be a stable government. They will be changing, so the market condition will be not so favorable. So the stock price will crash. So it's a binary event. Whenever there is a binary event, either the stock can, after the result, the stock can crash as high, or it can crash down low. So both possible things are there. So what you do, you go and buy a put option also. Put option premium also you pay, you pay for 2.5 rupees. And so what, when do you buy a put option? When you think the market is crashing down. So if the market crashes to 20 rupees, what you would have paid is only 2.5 rupees. However, the difference between this 40 and 20, this 20 rupees will be your gain. So now when you do both, what happens? So when you do both, for call option premium you would have paid 2.5, for put option premium you would have paid 2.5. So in nutshell, you have paid totally 5 rupees from your pocket. So two different writers you have paid that. Alright. So now what happens? When the market, whichever way it goes, when the market shoots up to 60 rupees, what happens? In call option, obviously put option will lapse because you won't use this instrument, it won't be of any use. However, call option instrument which you have bought, you will be using it. This 20 rupees, that if it is going to 60 rupees, 40 rupees which is subtracted from 60 rupees, 20 rupees will be your gain. However, the total premium you will be paying is not 2.5, you have paid another 2.5 for put option. So together you would be paying 5 rupees. However, the benefit you will be enjoying is 20 rupees. Net you will be getting 15 rupees per share. If the lot size of the particular share is 1000, 15 into 1000, 15,000 rupees will be your profit. On a reverse scenario, if the market crashes to 20 rupees, again here you will be, call option will be lapsing, you won't be getting anything. Put option you will be getting 20 rupees. However, this entire 20 rupees you can't enjoy because at the initial level only you have paid from your pocket 5 rupees to purchase both the instrument. So here also you will be getting 15 rupees. So this is a strategy where you don't know which way the market goes. So you just buy both the, it is called long straddle. It is called a long straddle. The reason is your long means buy. Going long denotes buying. You are buying both the instruments and keeping in your pocket. So whichever market way the market goes, you are enjoying the profit. But when do you do this? You don't do this when the market is stable. There is a big caveat here. If say the market stays at 40 rupees, it doesn't move anywhere, you will lose this entire 5 rupees. If it is a 1000 rupees lot per share price, 5000 rupees will be straight away losing. Even if your view is right and the market has gone to 42 rupees, 2 rupees it has gone, your view is right. So but still in call option you will be getting 42 minus 40, you will be getting only 2 rupees. However, this 5 rupees you would have already paid the premium. 5 rupees will be your loss, 2 rupees will be your gain. Net you will be losing 3 rupees in this whole contract. So this long straddle strategy you do only when you think market is going to behave abnormally, either it is going to crash down or is going to short up heavily. Is this strategy understood? Should I repeat?
No, go ahead, Rosario.
All right. So the exact opposite to this long straddle is the short straddle. What happens in the short straddle? You are selling both this instrument. So you will be collecting 2.5 at the call premium. You will be collecting put option at 2.5. So 5 rupees you have collected. Where will be the maximum profit happens? As a seller, you don't want the market to move both the sides. So this you will be doing when you expect a price. Generally, the price of any stock is always sideways. On a rare event, it will be crashing down or going up. On a rare event, generally it will be always sideways. Say for example, for some reason the stock from the starting of the month is 40 rupees. It has gone up to 44 rupees and come down to again to 40 rupees. You will be both the call option and put option, they will be lapsing. You will be enjoying this entire 5 rupees premium which is collected. That is why you can see the highest profit potential of 5 rupees is at the strike price of 40 rupees. So this 5 rupees, whatever you collected, entire amount you are getting it. The buyer of both the call option and put option, but because it's in the contract, because it is the where the market started. So that is why this strategy will work when you think the market is sideways. I hope it is clear. So this is one of the very lovely strategy which I would in my personal trade I was doing this quite a lot. So this is one of the key strategy. I have few more strategies, but in the interest of time, I think since we started already late, in the interest of time, I'm skipping this. Anyway, I'll be sharing my mail ID and my Twitter ID. If you want to learn more of this, or you want to connect with me, you can do that. I'm proceeding. Yeah. So before I end the session, let me end with a proper knowledge transfer, because after hearing all this, I wanted to convey one important thing. Before that, now you have heard me a lot, right? What is the buyer is doing, what is the seller is doing, what is the payoff structure, all those things. Whom do you think you want to be? Whether you want to be a buyer of option or seller option? I wanted some forum answer here, because this is a very key part in actual trading, because no theoretical books will teach you this, even if you are writing your CMA exam. Okay, I mean, if you want to choose one of it, like you want, either you can be a buyer or seller. What do you want to be? Okay, I want few more answers, please. I can see a lot of answer coming as buyer, yeah. Okay. Okay, I think the consensus is to be a buyer. Correct? No, obviously. What happens? You are paying a low premium. See, for example, in that 100 rupees example, you are paying only 10 rupees, wherein whatever happens, the 10 rupees is your loss. If your view is wrong, say for example, you bought this call option at 10 rupees. If the market crashes, you can tear off this instrument. That 10 rupees is going to be the loss. However, the reward is unlimited. This reward, it can go to even infinity. It can go to 500, it can go to 600. That much profit you will be gaining as a buyer. So the risk is limited, the reward is unlimited, and the premium is also low. Correct, no? And I'll tell you what happens, what it takes to be a seller. Seller, you need to have huge margin money. For example, in that our example of HDFC, to buy an option, say for example, for 500 lot size, if the premium for that particular strike price is 10 rupees, to buy that option 500 into 10, only 5000 rupees you will have to pay. That is the amount of premium you will have to pay to be a buyer. Only 10 rupees into the number of shares. Say 500 is a lot size, 500 into 10, 5000 rupees is the total investment to be a buyer. However, if you have to sell that particular option, you need to have at least 1 lakh rupees in your trading account. The reason is, if the market goes like anything, NSE can't go beyond yourself and it can collect the money. See, so for example, if the market goes up very much, the seller has to settle the huge difference to you. So if he doesn't have that money in place, it will be a bankruptcy thing. No, if he doesn't have the money and still if he has sold, it's a bigger risk. NSE cannot or any broker house cannot settle amicably between two parties. So what it does, to be a seller, you need to have huge margin money, wherein the NSE will collect this margin money, huge 1 lakh margin money upfront from you. However, as a buyer, you will be paying only 10 rupees into the number of shares. In our example, 500 is the lot size, 5000 rupees. So to be a seller, you need a huge margin money. What happens? What is the profit? The profit is only 10 rupees. Whatever happens in the market scenario, even if your view goes completely right, as a seller of call option, what should be your view? The market has to come down, because if the market is going up, you will be making huge losses. So when the market is, your view is right and market is coming down, still you will be enjoying only 10 rupees, but the limit is unlimited. Unlimited risk. When the market goes up like anything, you will be facing huge losses as a seller. So considering all these points, if any sensible person who has listened to this lecture or who has read our textbooks will like to be a buyer, there is no doubt about it. But let me tell you, I am into option selling, completely option selling. I don't do buying. Only I do buying for managing my risk, and not only me, those who are doing option selling are not ordinary people. All FIIs, all big institutions, they don't buy options. 99% of the time they do sell options. So then who is buying options? Anyway, for any contract there should be a buyer and seller. It can't be always seller, no. So in Indian market, all retailers like you and me and all other small traders, just going by this fancy low premium, limited risk, unlimited reward, they are going by this fancy term and they are always choose to be a buyer. However, all big boys, all FIIs, DIIs, finance, like those who have tons and tons of money, they choose to be a seller. There is a reason, because I didn't tell you the fourth dimension. See, you can correlate this buying of option to example of a lottery ticket. What happens in a lottery ticket? You are obviously paying for 10 rupees, you are buying a lottery ticket. What is the risk? If you don't hit the lottery, you will get only the risk is only limited, that 10 rupees is lost. But if you win, you will be winning crore rupees, 1 crore rupees, 2 crore rupees. That is the potential you will be having when you buy a lottery ticket. But how many of you are winning a lottery ticket? If there are 1 crore people who are buying the lottery ticket, obviously say 10 rupees, 10 crore is the total price which is collected. The lottery price will be maximum 3 crores. 7 crore will be gained by the lottery ticket enabler or the owner. Similarly, nowhere there is a free lunch. If someone says there is very low risk and there is high reward, that never happens. If you want to have a high reward, either the risk should be high, or at least the capital which is deployed, or your talent or knowledge capital, either of it should be high. If it is not high, and if the risk is also not high, you are never going to get the high reward. There is one more example which I can give you, wherein there is a very low premium and you will get unlimited reward, but the risk is high. That is bank robbery. To rob a bank, you can, all you need is a AK-47. You can go to deep web market and you can buy it say for 1 lakh, and you can go and rob a bank and you can go get crores and crores of rupees. But what is the risk? The risk is very high. If you get caught, you will be behind the bars for the rest of your life. So whenever there is that risk is limited and there is a low premium, you will be never able to achieve a high reward. That is the funda you should understand, because what we are reading in theory and what is happening in the market is completely different. I'll give you an example. So we are going to wind this session in next 10 minutes. I'm going to explain you why selling of the option is the holy grail. I mean, I hope I'm clear. I'll be clarifying furthermore in the next slide. What happens? Theoretically, 80% of the option expire worthless. This is non-directional. I'll tell you what is directional and what is it. Secret is the probability. The probability of you being right is very, very, very low, because whatever premium you are paying now, over and above the premium, the market movement, it is very, very unlikely to happen. I'll show you a practical example in the next slide. So remember, if you want to be a buyer, you can still, I mean, I'm not supporting you have to be always a seller. If you want to be the buyer, you have to have a clear-cut view of the market. Yes, I'm going to buy this call option. Market is going to shoot up. It is going to shoot up heavily in such a way I'm going to get so much of money. If you have a clear-cut view, then it makes all the more sense to be a buyer. If you have a clear-cut view, say for example, we had a recent market crash. In that time, if you have bought a put option, say for 10 rupees, 100 rupees, that has become 10,000 and 20,000. That is the amount it gained. But those events doesn't happen in the day-to-day life. It is exactly like insurance. Every year you will be paying and losing it. Only when tsunami comes, the insurer becomes bankrupt. So that kind of tsunami happens once in 40 years, once in 50 years. So this buying of options is just pure gambling. And I would say selling is like running a casino. If you see those who run casino, they need to have a huge capital, because to sell one particular lot, you should have huge margin money. But every time who is winning, casino owner is enjoying all the profit. Buying every time will come and lose. Once in a while you'll be winning big, but you will be buying in such a way that winning will be not even 10 to 20% of whatever you have lost continuously by doing it repetitively. So that is the particular knowledge transfer I wanted to emphasize here. Buying is just like an insurance. Selling is like an insurance company. Insurance company, or you can see LIC is at crores and crores of profit. Due to why? It is having, in India, the death ratio is so high. So, but still, how they are able to give life insurance at such a low premium? The reason is they have factored all that in the premium. Like if you think, if I am just buying this particular call option or put option just for 30 rupees or 40 rupees premium, the probability of market crossing that particular 40 rupees or whatever premium it is collected, which is very low, which we will be seeing in the next slide. This is the option chain. This is the Infosys live market data. This is the data for today. Like I said, 30th July is the experiential example, the practical example which I am trying to convey here. 30th July is the expiry day. These are the strike prices. The current market price of Infosys is 936. You can assume it is 940. Okay. So to this side is call option, the left hand side is call option, and the right hand side is put option. For 940 strike price, you can buy this call option. You will get the right to buy at 940 by paying this 21 rupees. Alright. Similarly, you will have the right to sell at 940 by paying this 20 rupees, which is in the put option. Correct? Now, let me tell you why buying is not so lucrative as it seems on a textbook. What happens? Say, I'll give you two scenarios. when you have a view that market is going to go up, what two things you can do? One is obviously buying a call option, because whenever the market is going up, you are going to benefit. Or the other smart thing is to sell a put option. What happens when you are selling a put option at 940, say at 20 rupees? If the market is going up, say 950, 960, this entire premium for which you have sold, you will be able to pocket. Your risk is only when the market is going to crash down. Agreed? When you have a view that market is going to go up, IT stocks are doing well, and you are having a view that market is going to go up, you can do two things. One, you can buy a call option by paying this 20 rupees, or you can alternatively selling option. I'm talking about buying versus selling. Or alternatively, you can sell a put option at 20 rupees at 940, wherein the market, if the market goes up, you will be pocketing this entire 20 rupees. The lot size is for example 100, or I think it will be more than that. If it is say for example 100, you will be pocketing this 2000. Now we will go to scenarios. Market can be either sideways, correct? No, it can stay in 940. Market can be very bullish, it can crash up to 1000 rupees, or market can be mildly bullish, correct? No, there are only 5 scenarios. It can be sideways, slightly bullish, over bullish, slightly bearish, over bearish. It can crash down over, it can mildly crash, it can be bullish, it can go up in a very high way. There are only 5 scenarios. When you buy a call option, what happens? When the market is staying at the same price, out of 5, when the market is staying at the same price, still you lose this entire 21 rupees. That is scenario number 1. When the market is slightly bearish, if it is going below 930, then also you will be losing this 21 rupees, because you won't exercise this contract, right? When the market is heavily bearish, then also you will be losing this entire 21 rupees. When the market is say slightly bullish, what happens? It has come to 950 rupees. You will be getting this 10 rupees, agreed. But you have paid 21 rupees. Net you will be losing 11 rupees. Even when the market goes up to 960, you will be getting 20 rupees. You will be losing 22 rupees. So 2 rupees will be your loss, even when your view is right. If your view is market will go up, agreed. The market has gone up 20 rupees, which is roughly like 2 to 3%. In a per annum, any stock can go on an average 25%. That is there are exceptional, but generally stock can go per annum 25%. Per month, it will be roughly, you can say 3-4% itself is a big thing. Now we are talking about sitting in, see today, and there are 30th July, there is only hardly 10 days. If you are doing this, the market is, even if your view is right, if it is going to 960, still you will be losing 1.65 rupees. So this option buying, as it seems on paper, as it seems on theoretical way, you will be losing 4 out of 5 items. First scenario, if the market crashes, if it is mildly bearish, if it is seeing the sideways, or if it is slightly, in all 4 scenarios out of 5 scenarios, you will be losing by buying the call option. You will be gaining only when the market is extremely bullish, but that will be a jackpot for you. If the market is extremely bullish, it won't stay at 940, it can go into even to 1200. So that is the only one scenario, which means out of 5, only 1 time will be winning, which means your success ratio is only 20%. However, see, for example, in the similar condition, if you have a view of market going up, you can sell put option. What happens here? When the market is sideways, if it is 940, still you will get this 20 rupees. When the market is still going up, your view is right, market has just gone 950 rupees, still you will be pocketing this 20 rupees for all yourself. If the market is slightly bearish also, say 930, you will be paying this 10 rupees difference of 940. As a put option writer, you will have to pay when the market goes down, right? The 940 minus 930, 10 rupees you will be paying. However, you have collected 20 rupees, you will be getting 10 rupees as profit. You will be losing only when market crashes down, which means only out of 5 scenarios, only when one scenario, 20% of the time, when the market crashes heavily, you'll be losing here. But since your view is market is going to go up by seeing the market condition, obviously either the market will be slightly bearish or sideways will be to go up. You'll be pocketing the entire 20 rupees. So that is why people are doing option selling is all big institutional traders or anyone who is having huge capital, they will be always choose to be sellers. The reason is the probability of success in being an option seller is very high. Though his reward is limited and he carries unlimited risk, but still there is one final element, the probability of being right. By day one you will be a winner. I mean, just by being a seller, just you thinking, I mean, you need not have any big market view, you need not have any extraordinary skill set. Just by deciding you being a seller, you are winning 80% of the time. I mean, I think no one will give you this kind of success ratio in market. Even whatever trade you are giving, there is a 50% chance in any trade in market. If you are buying stock, either stock can go up or down. But by choosing to be an option seller, you are giving yourself 80% of the time all the way. But remember, the 20% of the time when you are going to lose heavily. That is the time you need to be very careful. There are several strategies to hedge yourself and protect from that unlimited loss. That you will learn eventually. But the idea which I want to convey here is being an option seller is far more better than being the option buyer. You can be the option buyer only when you have a clear-cut view of the market. It is going to shoot up heavily or it is going to crash. So that is the point which I want to drive in. Thank you all, I mean, for the patience in this COVID time, and I really appreciate all of you to join this session. You can ask any questions if you have, or we can end the session.